Alright traders, what's going on YouTube? And this is DeeFx right here. Welcome to another tutorial, and today I'll be talking about something very important. We'll be continuing from where we stopped, and I'll be handling the class alone. Okay, so basically we've been talking about series of things. We've been talking about creating highs, creating lows, marking out your higher highs and higher lows, how to spot the exhaustion areas, how to take good entries, informations you need, and so on and so forth. Now what I want you to do now is, in this video, make sure you have your notes with you, as well as you have a particular pen with you. So now everything I'll be saying, make sure you're jotting it down and make sure you don't miss anything that I will be saying in this video. Now, without wasting much of your time, today we'll be talking about something very important, which is compiling everything I have taught you, or everything that is in the previous videos, into one. Now in this video we'll be talking about how can you now build your trading strategy using everything I have taught you. It's a very important part of this whole training, okay, because it's your trading strategy that will give you an edge. And for you to be able to understand that trading strategy is a very important part of this and can be unique, you need to understand that as well. You need to understand that trading strategy can be unique based on your trading style, based on the person that you are, based on how you react to things, and so on and so forth. Let's dive straight into today's video. Peace. Alright guys, so welcome back to the tutorial, and then basically I'll be talking about everything, like I said, bringing everything together to make sense, bringing everything together to show you how you can enter trades and so on and so forth. So currently on the charts right here, and then we've been seeing a lot of activity this week, which has been very interesting, to be very honest with you. And then interesting in the sense that it has given you an opportunity to really change your life as well as make money for yourself. Now going straight into what we have on the chart now, I want to consider gold as my let's say as my sample, or as something I want to use to execute and to teach you guys today, pretty much. So now if we go straight into this, we could see the trade I caught on gold, and then this is a very nice one. And I also caught the sell all the way from here. Those are the two trades I took on gold this week. Very interesting move, and then very simple strategy that I used. Now I'm going to be taking these two trades as an example, and I'm going to be using them to teach you how to execute using the strategy I taught you. Exhaustion points, first of all, exhaustion points, right? Then second of all, you want to understand the highs and the lows. That's all we want to talk about. We want to talk about how do the highs and the lows actually affect the market, and how can you take advantage of this. So now we want to understand that we have 3 sessions in every trading day. First thing first is we have 3 sessions in every trading day. So whenever we have a session, we have a high and a low of that session. Okay, now one session we had the second session, then we had the third session, okay, which then completes the day. Okay, so the first session known as Asia, the second session known as London, and the third session known as the New York session. Okay, now we can now easily tell that, okay, based on this, when the Asian open and closes, it creates a high and low. When the London opens and closes, it creates a high and low. When the New York opens, it creates a what? A high and low. So we want to use that particular knowledge now to actually execute, because everything I have taught you is about marking out the previous day high, the previous day low, looking out for exhaustion points, using your trend lines, and so on and so forth. Easy peasy, guys. Now the very first trade I'm going to explain, we don't have to go too far, we just have to look at the day. So now I took my trade, or I trade only New York session precisely. I wait till 2 o'clock before I execute my trades. So now if you look at this, we have the Asian session, then we have the London session. Now pay attention to this. Now the Asian session, we had the highest point price got to during the Asian session to be this point here. Now I mark that. The lowest point price got to during the Asian session was this point here. Does that make sense? Now during the London session, we had a high created, which is here. Then we had a low created during the London session before the overlap. Yeah, the low was here. Now when I came to the market during New York session, you can see when the overlap happened, then we can have the New York session overlapping on the London session and the London session overlapping on the Asian session. That's fine. Now the idea was that I needed to see price actually break below the Asian session. Of course, why am I looking for that particular activity? Because I can see that we already have lower highs being formed. Can you see that? We already have lower highs being formed, and that tells me that price respected the highest point of the previous day. Does that make sense? This is the previous day. This particular box here, everything that happened here was the previous day before the day I took the trade. Okay, now that being said, I looked out on the chart and then I saw that price was expecting the previous day high. Then all I wanted to do was I wanted to see it come back to what the previous day low. Now you see, I'm combining all the knowledge I already shared with you on this class. So now if you look at it, or in this class precisely, now if you look at it now, you would see that we had a very push to the downside, taking out the Asian low. I did not execute at that point. I waited for price patiently. Does that make sense? I waited for price patiently before I now executed my trade. All I wanted to see was price struggle to either return back into the Asian session low. Okay, now you can now see what happened here. You can see how price struggled to actually go back into that point, now giving us a very good bearish engulfing. But because I only don't want bearish engulfing, I want some solid confirmations. I want some solid candlestick reactions that can tell me that okay, price is about to change direction and price is about to go to the downside, which will now bring me to candlesticks confirmation. You need to understand that there are different types of candlestick confirmation, and based on your trading edge, based on your trading strategy and everything, you know what candlestick confirmation works for you. For me, I know that my Quasimodo candlestick confirmations work for me excellently on gold. And now, what is the Quasimodo confirmation? Quasimodo confirmation is when you have price creating a high, then coming down, then creating a lower high, and then it is coming down like this. Exactly, something like an M pattern now, like an M pattern in this sense. Okay, but in a way we are not going to focus on M pattern. We are going to call it a Quasimodo pattern. The reason why it's a Quasimodo pattern is simple, because price has failed to come back to retest this high. Can you see that? Price failed to come back to retest this high. So if we bring that particular thing here, you can see now we had an exhaustion at that point, and then price failed to come back to tap into it. Okay, now price didn't tap into it. That now leaves me with what? One thing. I now see a bearish engulfing again, which one, then two, then I took my sell. Easy. Can you see? Candlestick confirmation, Asian low being broken, and there's a retest of the Asian low. I already can see that price already couldn't go above our previous day high, which then tells me whatever I am looking for has to be a what? A sell, even if the overall trend is to the upside. Okay, now bear in mind that gold currently is still an uptrend on the higher time frame, but because we are day traders, I am a day trader, I trade day in day out. Okay, and then that's all I have to do. I just have to set my trap, get it ready, wait for price to react, then I respond. I don't react and then price responds to me. No, I wait for price to do what it wants to do, break out of it. You can see I waited for Asian session to close, I waited for London session to open. I had a particular nice setup showing me that price is actually coming to the downside. Remember, for every sell or for a downward trend, you have to see lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so which we could see nicely that was printed around here. Now if we now come back to the analysis, then where did I actually set my target? My target is simple. I set my target to what? The previous day low, and that was how I was able to get a 1:4 risk to reward on gold, the very first trade explained. If you have any question, please kindly send the question in the comments in the comment section. I will be there to answer this question. Now look at the next trade I took again. Same time, New York session. I don't have any business with London session. I don't have any business with Asian session. The only business I have is they tell me a story. You understand? Now when they tell me that story, I then respond based on what they are showing on the chart. So if you now look at it, we had a very nice price pushing to the downside. Remember now, we could see that this is the lowest point price got to the previous day, and then this is the highest point price got to the previous day. I hope you can see that. So we have the highest point price got to the previous day here. Oh, your mercy never fails me. Now we had the lowest point price got to here. Okay, now this is the lowest point price got to here, and then we could see that during the opening of the Asian session, price just pushed to the downside. Then after price pushed to the downside, we could now see that price was actually coming back to retest that low all over during the Asian session. Now everything that was happening was somewhere around here. You can see the retest there. Everything was just happening, and all the noise were happening. Now I don't have any business with all the noise. I don't have any business with all of that. The London session opened again. The price sold off. Easy peasy. Now the fact that price sold off, we can see that it is actually telling us that we are in a downtrend. But I waited, of course. Like I said, I always wait. My pattern has to show before I take a trade. Now then I waited for the London session, the New York session precisely. Now then I saw that price came back to the London high. Okay, price came back to the London high, and as you can see, price struggled to break above the London high. Remember, I'm going back to the first. Price broke below the Asian low, and then we couldn't go above it again. Then we had the Quasimodo pattern. Yeah, then now the second trade, price got to the London high. When London opened, this was the highest point price got to during London. Then let me mark it out for you. This was the highest point price got to during London. Then below here is the lowest point price got to during London session. Okay, although let me add the overlap. Let's add this place as the lowest point price got to during London session, or we could say, yeah, somewhere here. Yes, let's use that point. Now my idea was that I want to see price tap into the London session high, and then all of a sudden I want to see my Quasimodo pattern form. Now look at it clearly. Can you see my Quasimodo pattern for me here? Can you see how nicely my Quasimodo pattern formed? Let me bring this down here. Sorry about that. Can you see that? Now immediately my Quasimodo pattern formed, all I did was just execute my trade. Now I could see that we had three bearish candles lining up beside each other. That gives me the confirmation I need. Though this trade lasted till the next day, I was able to hold it because I know one thing, that every day leads to another day. So every trading day always leads to another day. Every trading day leads to another trading day. Every day leads to another day. So make sure you are paying attention, and then you know what to do and what not to do on these charts. Okay, so now with this explanation, I hope you understand how the previous day high, the previous day low, and the Asia session high, the London session low, London session high can actually be of help to you. So adding to this, we could easily say that we had a trend line. Of course, we could easily say we have a trend line. Now I told you that when you're doing your trend line, you want to be stylish about it. Okay, now you don't just want to draw your trend line because this is high, this is low. You want to be able to be stylish about it. So I'm going to connect these 3 points together. These are nice. Then I'm going to take my trend line again from this third point here. Now look at that. Can you look at that? Can you see that? Now I had this particular touch which gave me the confirmation for my entry. Now no problem. Then now I needed more confirmation, of course, based on trend lines. I took my trend line again from here, and then I drew this like this again, trusting it to play out. Then again I took my trend line again all the way from this bottom here, and then I connected again like this. Now it might not make sense to you looking at this chart like this, but I know what I did. Okay, now let me clear the chart. Let me remove all these trends. Let's remove all the trends. Now look at it. First of all, I connected this point. You can see the points here. I'm currently connecting from wick to body to wick. Okay, Then now from this week here, I'm going to connect to this particular point where I was looking at the entry. Yeah, and you can see that it was upon the second touch I took myself. Now then I saw that okay, there could be a possible move like this. Okay, that gave me more confluence. Then I said, okay, you know what, let's be stylish about this. Now I brought it to this low here, then I connected like this. Now you see I connected from that low to the Asian high, then to the New York high. The very first few hours upon the New York opening, I was able to connect the high, and then all of a sudden I could see that okay, I think we should have a push to the downside. But all of a sudden we could see that during the midnight price pushed against us. But one thing is, you always want to just trust the strategy, just let it play out. So then I had my trend line like this again. I was just expecting that price will just respect these trend lines and then push to the downside. And what did he do? He did it nicely. It sold off neatly. Do you understand? So without any further ado, this is just me bringing in a 15-minute video to you, just trying to tell you that you can also do this on your own. You can replicate this strategy on your own and without having to wait for anybody to tell you what to do. Asian high, Asian low, London high, London low, New York high, New York low, and then remember, your trading strategy is an hedge to you. So whatever you do on the chart, if you're actually going to do this, do it, put it into work, be consistent about it, and then don't actually feed or let any other person tell you that what you do is wrong. Okay, if you won't focus on trend lines, and then put your stop loss where you're supposed to put your stop loss, put your take profit where you're supposed to put your take profit. Remember, always target exhaustion points as well as target previous day low or previous day high as take profit. So this is Daniel here signing out. Peace.